Thank you for joining us on this episode of Good Morning NFT Podcast. We have Evan Mann from Faceless Many. So I really want to hear what Evan Mann has to say. Can you tell us what your role is in the Faceless Many? Because I don't see a lot of people that probably know you from the team. So
Sure. I'm happy to tell you. Thanks so much for having me on. I'm looking forward to the conversation and getting to know some of the folks out there in your audience. My name is Evan, and at the Faceless Many, my title is the Scrivener. Scrivener is just a fancy word for scribe, and in the context of our story, it means that I am a storyteller, somebody who helps regular people like your grandma who just heard about Bitcoin, and also people maybe who've been developing in Solidity for years to come to our story to learn about NFTs and just the potential for Web3 tools to change their lives. We talk a lot about how these tools will impact people of all kinds, and our mission at Faceless Crypto is to lead the financial revolution and empower the faceless many. So education, storytelling, demonstrating the potential for proof of ownership beyond just JPEGs is kind of my job there.
yeah, and I think that's a big thing coming into the crypto space. I don't know I don't know all the utility to your NFTs yet. So I think this conversation will kind of stay on YouTube and give people the kind of knowledge they need to make that decision if they choose to. So can you tell us what do you have coming up that people already know about that might someone observing might like that and get in and be like, this is for me?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, with your permission, I'm going to back it up and sort of tell you the quick 30-second intro of our project for people who don't know to get up to speed. So the Faceless Many is a collection of 8,064 characters living on the Elrond blockchain that represent the hero in all of us. They are a fictional parallel to the real world story of regular people using blockchain technology to rise up and rewrite their financial future. This NFT is accompanied by fantastic art by our Academy Award-winning, Emmy Award-winning artist Carlos Nieto, who goes by Custom, QSTOM, on social media. But the art is really the smallest part of what this NFT is. We describe it as your entry ticket to the faceless ecosystem and the financial revolution. I find myself saying a lot, and I think it's important to note that while most NFT projects are kind of an end to themselves, this NFT project is really the first step on Faceless Crypto's roadmap to become like a Facebook meets Wikipedia, but make it crypto, and the secret sauce is community. So we have a lot of different resources, a Discord server where we have a live classroom, a website, several of us that post content on different social media platforms, and we're very passionate about access to always free education. Whether or not you hold one of our Genesis NFTs, we understand that you are one of the Faceless Many. And so we want to reach people where they are with content that is helpful to them and a community that's free for them to access and safe for people at all levels of experience. Like I said, whether you're a dev or someone's grandma who just learned about Bitcoin. And our roadmap includes other NFT launches. We are a consulting service. We launch other artists and businesses into the Web3 space. We have 7 metaverse worlds that people can access for free. And my personal goal is to onboard about a dozen artists and about 1 million regular people into the metaverse to start building and profiting from that involvement. We want to have a capital fund. We'd eventually like to develop a governance token and perhaps a publicly traded token when it's safe to do so in compliance with regulation, so that people can just explore. Not everyone's into NFTs, not everyone's into tokens, but there is an opportunity, whatever your interest and your skill set, to learn about what's happening here and apply your unique skills to Web3 so that you can learn and grow and write a better future. In terms of what's coming up for us, we just had an NFT launch, our second collection, the Faceless Allies, that we did in partnership with the Myar Punks, the Elrond Ducks, the Nogons, and we have a proprietary piece as well that represents our initial collection. And that was available exclusively for Rev Points, which is not a currency. It's sort of like a raffle ticket that TFM NFTs generate for their holders. So for the price of a TFM NFT, our folks have been accruing these rev points that they've been able to use to redeem allies NFTs in our marketplace and other stuff. We have Oculus Quests, we have Ledger Nanos, and eventually we'll have merch, other NFTs that people can redeem their rev points for, so that essentially for the price of one NFT, they're able to buy all these other assets and things that have real world value because of their participation in our community.
That's good to hear. I did look a little bit into it, and I don't own any, just to let everyone know. So I don't own one NFT of yours. And I try to find the value, and, when you guys did start out, it was rocky for me, just looking in from the outside, and so, to see you guys develop and actually mature a little bit, in the space was really cool to see. And I know you guys have Guardian of the Galaxies, I guess, was one of the things your artist actually was a part of. Is that?
That's correct. Carlos has contributed to Guardians of the Galaxy. He's contributed to Black Mirror. He's done campaigns for Nike, for Chanel, for BMW. He has done a ton of stuff. Is a really accomplished veteran of graphic design. And the collections he did for us, we love them. They're really magnificent pieces of art. I think it's great to be having a conversation with somebody who's not a holder, just because I talk to people who are holders a lot. And my passion is really for people who are not in the space yet. You're obviously in the space. Yeah,
since day one. I've been in since day one to NFTs. So just watching kind of, I missed out on a couple different things because I didn't take action, which is just fine. But you have to be kind of, like, you got to speculate, but at the same time, you got to be careful, and eGold, like I tell everyone on this podcast, is eGold is special. It's, there's not a lot of eGold out there, and that's just the way it is. So, seeing one eGold mint projects is hard for me too, so, I, as someone looking at it was like, okay, how much room to grow, and then how much time do we have before eGold explodes? And then actually these projects grow with the price of eGold, because that's what I'm looking for, and to see what value these projects are going to be giving to the people. And, you're not going to be able to get into everything. Just like, I didn't get into the Faceless Many. There was just things that kind of kept me from getting in, and then I seen other people get in, but, I always stick to what I believe. But at the same time, I'm always interested, and maybe I might change my mind, but it's got to be significant enough to, for the community to be like, all right, well, I'll take part in this. I don't own any, like no one's going to send me an NFT, of yours to be like, oh, display. I'm not like big enough for that. But at the same time, I just want to teach people and be like, well, when there are kind of like super shills, it is kind of like, be wary, because you guys did start out with a team effort. I saw that, you started out as like, bam, we're going to hit this hard, and it was kind of concerning, but at the same time, to be successful, you have to have a good team that believes in what you're doing. And there's a fine line between that too, because people come together like, oh, well, we can make a lot of money here. And then you do have that artist behind you, so it's like, it was just a hard thing for me to make that decision. But like, as you mature, it might be easier for me to be like, all right, do I want to earn some rev points to maybe just like show the community I do want to get involved. I do want any project on Elrond to succeed that are building. So, if you're doing education, that's what this podcast is about, is education. So when I see like you do want to take it further, you want to have funds for people, you want to do, you're giving your community roles. I see that already in taking charge in the community and like, making decisions too. So that's kind of cool that I see. And I really like that. So
Derek, can I ask you, I would love to learn more about some of the projects that you really believe in and think are doing great work in the space that have given you the confidence to invest. But I want to touch on something you said first, which is just the incredible benefit of having a big team. A lot of people may not know that our project team we have 9 people now. We started with 10. We had 10 people more or less full time that were working on this. Developers, architects, we call them, like me, who are the core team of this project, who are contributing a lot of real thoughtful work. And one of the benefits we had not only was the human capital. A lot of folks listening may or may not know this, but most NFT projects that I have observed in the space, they launch with a very small team, sometimes just 1 or 2 people. And a lot of the time, those people don't have any previous experience in the space or professionally in marketing, in development, et cetera. A lot of them are struggling to hire developers themselves. And did you want to say something?
No, I was just saying me, that.
Oh, yeah. So they're struggling to hire
on my podcast side, I'm 2-man team, but on my projects, I'm a 1-man team. So I get what you're saying.
Which is, it's tough. If you're, in a space where people see that you can sell 10,000 stone zebras and make $2.5 million, it's enticing for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing to pay an artist on Fiverr and to try and hire a developer that they don't know to put together a sale. And one of the things I'm really grateful about our team is that we all knew each other for a year before we started working together. We had spent a lot of time building relationships, building trust, building connections. And then when we came together, it was for the purpose of expanding Faceless Crypto, to expand our educational offerings and provide value to people. And also, as people who'd been putting a lot of thought into what is an NFT beyond a JPEG and what is proof of ownership really, we decided that the best way to advance Faceless Crypto would be first to do an NFT that gives people a chance to own their part of the story, and also allows us as people who've been thinking about this to demonstrate to other project teams what the potential for this technology could look like. So we as a team of 10 decided that it was really important for us to be doxed, first of all. Because if we show our faces, then it gives people the ability to trust us. A lot of projects in this space aren't doxed, which is okay, but it may be a cause for concern. And it doesn't give you as much assurance that they're going to act in your best interest. And then the other thing that I loved is that we worked really hard it was 6 of us. We worked really hard to recruit development talent on our team. We have 3 developers that we know personally, that we have relationships with. One of our developers was the best man at our founder Mac's wedding. So there's no risk that on the day of the launch, they're going to pull the rug out from under us, because we know them, we trust them, we know where they live. And that's more than I think 90% of the projects in the space can say. And another thing that's, concerning to us that we hope to change by modeling a better way is a lot of projects right now, they're interested in creating a sale, but they haven't thought much about how they're going to craft a fair sale and what they're going to do after the sale to add value. I don't know if you know this, but a project on Elrond or on any blockchain where the NFTs are minted to the blockchain before the sale, somebody can go in there with pretty minimal technical knowledge and use an API to scrape the assets of that collection and see, for example, that 10 of these images have pink skin, and therefore pink skin must be really rare. And at the time of mint, if the assets already live on the blockchain, they can target their interaction with the smart contract to increase the likelihood that they mint a rare asset. It's called sniping for people listening. And it just baffles me how many teams allow that kind of thing to happen at their mint. And as we researched, we started to realize that a lot of them don't know that that's an issue. So again, I was so fortunate to be part of a team that, 1, understands that, and 2, is concerned about that. We did a lot to ensure that our mint would be entirely fair, entirely random. And some of the problems that we encountered were a result of building proprietary technology to ensure fairness. But again, because people knew who we were, and because we were able to open this strong community, these strong channels of communication, we had a lot of trust. People felt they could trust us, which felt really good. I've kind of gotten off just, because as I'm thinking about it, I get so excited about all the benefits of it. But, I would love to know more about what some of those projects are for you that inspired that confidence. And I'd love to hear, you had mentioned that you had some doubts about our project. I would be really curious to learn some of the sources of information that you had that made you nervous, because I think we're really
The one thing
intentional
that was
about communicating well.
The one thing that was big was so when you guys first entered the space, and then I seen like, you know, you guys already had like a BitBoy, you know, but you know, I didn't really want to bring that up as much, but I mean, it was kind of like relevant. Like you guys already had like a big creator that you were trying to shill to already. So like, it was kind of like, it threw a red flag up to me, you know, like, hey, these guys aren't trying to grow organically. They're just trying to like get like a flare, like and and it was like, hey, okay, well, why aren't they like reaching out to like some of these other Elrond creators right away, you know, instead, and then like seeing the community and like being like, hey, how about we make one for this guy and this guy, you know, instead, like, and so that was a concern for me, and that was like the biggest thing that kept me from buying. And that was like just like for like me and like what I'm trying to do, and like nobody knows really what I'm doing, you know, because it's not like I'm trying to like create like a whole like huge, I wasn't trying to create a whole ecosystem, but now I'm trying to like do something, but I don't want to like be like, hey, you know, I'm gonna be so big here, I'm gonna try to go so big that I don't have to do as much work from the smaller building. You know, it's just like a big like, hey, we're here, we're trying to get these big guys, and you should follow us, kind of thing.
You know, that's interesting that you bring that up. You may not know this, but our founder, Mac Lorden, got his start creating content on TikTok. He has an audience right now of about 150,000 people. And the three most public-facing members of our project in terms of audience in Web3 are him, myself, and Alex Popovich, Demonic Crypto. And between us, we reach about 250,000 people. And some of our very closest friends are other people in the space that are creating content, especially content with a mission to educate people. I don't know BitBoy Crypto personally, but he is a personal friend of Mac Lorden's. And so the decision to do a vault piece commemorating their friendship was not a paid advertisement. It wasn't a deal that we did in the dark. And you may not know that because it sounds like maybe you didn't know Mac before, but Mac and BitBoy are friends. It would be like if I, you know, made an NFT for my girlfriend.
I get that.
But as you
like,
can see,
I got attacked really hardcore. Like when I started just saying like, and I just said may, like, and you know, when I use my words, you know, and someone sees scam, but they don't see may before it, like may be a scam. Like I'll say that for anything that I see, like that I don't understand, but they won't explain it, you know, like right off the bat in a sincere way, you know, like, oh, these guys were friends, like in the way back. I never heard that one thing, like, but I know that a lot of guys were just like kind of like hitting me, and I know it was some of the bigger guys, and you know, and you know, some of maybe that you named, and they did kind of hit at me hard. And then, you know, and then like I was kind of thinking about like looking more into you guys, and I'm glad you did reach out because, you know, then, you know, there was kind of some more venom thrown at me, you know, and then it kind of brought it all in again, and that's kind of why I think we ended up here, you know.
Sure.
To have the conversation. But, you know, I do like what you guys are doing. That's the thing. Like, and I do like your second round of NFTs because I invested in all of them, you know? And so, you know, you trying to make partners with these and then going out making the NFTs, it was kind of special, you know? So I didn't have the, you know, the funds to go and just do that because I'm getting ready for other things at the moment. I really did want to buy some of them that were like at 0.26 or something. I saw that sold this morning, some of the allies that sold this morning. But, you know, it was just like, what are you going to do? You know, I do want to like know more about what you guys want to do in the future, like for education, because I am an education guy. No one wants to talk about education, it seems, in crypto. It's like more like FOMO buy, you know. So, and then, you know, no one wants to listen, you know, when I do bring things up, you know, until it's like, hey, maybe we should worry about that. But, I'm not worried about your project as much, in what I've seen. So that, the past is the past, and that's why we are here having this conversation. And I really do like what you guys are doing, and people can take and get value out of what you guys are doing. Definitely.
I appreciate that. And, I would like to say to you too, that I'm sorry that we didn't have the chance to have a conversation before and clear the air. I think it's a really good reminder of, as people with a platform, I think it's so important for us when we suspect somebody is doing something that may not be above the table to first reach out to them personally. I think a lot of it could have been avoided if we had that conversation at the start. Because it doesn't make us look good. If I go on my platform and post an unfounded allegation about somebody is doing this or that, and it turns out to be untrue, then people really have to question in the future whether or not they can trust me. And trust, my reputation, is my most valuable asset. And I think that's probably true for anybody. I know you take it very seriously. And so, I wish we had the opportunity to do that. I'm glad we have the opportunity to do it now. And I would say to you, my friend, I think it's so important what you do. But if you're welcoming encouragement or feedback or support, I would say it might be helpful in the future to reach out to one of us directly. We have a website that, to be fair, people can overlook, but it's public. It's in our Twitter profile. While all of our people are listed, you can see that we have a big team. You can see who they are publicly. And we do that so that we can engender trust with people, because education and providing value is first and foremost our biggest concern.
Right. And, I have done that in the past, and I have calmed down a little bit since my first Faceless Many post, because, now I do understand. And, learning communication skills is one thing, especially in this space. It isn't always easy, especially when you do see things, and they were valid concerns, and still, we are the Elrond community. We haven't been like the big people, like the big money, you know what I mean, so far. Yeah.
Sure. I don't mean to interrupt you, except I want to say you mentioned that they were valid concerns, but I feel like the allegations may have been unfounded. And my intention is not to create conflict with you or pick on you about it.
No,
but you can see how concerning it is to me when somebody says something about our project that I just don't think there's any founding for an allegation, like, for example, that we paid for promotion or for followers, because we haven't paid a dime for any of those things. We have relationships because of our integrity and our ethos that we celebrate and we want people to know about, because it will help them trust us. Right.
Mm-hmm. I don't think, it was that. It was like more of like, you had a gang of people, and it was kind of like the same TikTok, and that was another thing. Like they were like all the same thing, you know what I mean? Kind of like,
I guess I don't understand what you mean.
Like when you search the Faceless Many, like when you guys first came out, there was like, your 6 people or your 4 to 6 people that were really going hard on TikTok. And you could tell they were kind of all doing the same thing. And I get what you guys are doing, and I get that you guys are trying to go strong, but it did just, send me into like this like weird, like, this just doesn't look right. You
mean on my platform, like on my personal TikTok page as a member of the project?
All like it was kind of just like a collective, almost like the same, kind of thing going out there from each of you, or from a couple
from
of
me
you
and Mac and from the project team members, or did you see other people doing
like it? We were all, I mean, there was there was a few of us kind of observing that, and then like I don't, and I just wanted to like just make sure that people just were aware that this isn't like usually how I see like action being done to start a project. So it just threw up red flags, and that's what I just, and that's the thing. It was just, things like that. And then like you had so many followers right away, and so like it made me wary, which anyone looking in seeing that, like, kind of would probably look a little, look at it kind of like, oh, maybe we should wait, to see how this turns out, which that's what I was trying to do. But, I don't see anything wrong with it. It was just things that I don't like, and other people didn't really like care for either. But, I just try to keep, people into the realm of like, hey, organic growth just starts from us. It doesn't start from a team going hard and like, all those people, obviously are getting paid to promote, and either with the
I want to clear
top,
that up. We have never paid
like,
anybody to promote our project.
No, I'm saying within your team, all the people going out on TikTok, you guys are all paid. So like it just felt like it was like a sumo wrestler onto the little guy. You know what I mean? And like that's all they seen when they search like NFTs on Elrond on TikTok. So like, it was just concerning. So
sure,
that was it.
Can I ask you a question about ethics? Because it's something I think about often in terms of, I really hesitated to talk about this because I did not want people to think that I personally was interested in pumping my own bags. We hear that phrase a lot. And so it was something I felt I was measured about. And as somebody with an audience, but also as somebody who, the whole reason I participated in this and that our team decided to do this is because we saw so many people who were creating NFTs that were not valuable, that were interested in selling, that were doing paid advertisements. And we believed we could do better to create value for regular people. And so once we built a product that we felt could deliver that value, as people with an audience who have a vested interest in educating and protected people, we felt like it was almost our duty to steward that responsibility, not to tell people to buy our NFTs. In fact, we all actively said, hey, we're doing this project and you don't have to buy it, but here's why you might be interested and here's what we hope to accomplish. So I guess I would ask you, as somebody who wants to do that and sees this project as a better way to do that, I mean, how do you feel about that generally? Do you talk about your project? Do you advise your project on your platforms?
I talk
do you
about
feel
it
that
a
people
little
should
bit,
if they're part of a
but
project?
I talk about it, but at the same time, I'm not going to mint mine for one eagle. Okay. And I'm not, going to like, I'm going to definitely give more than what I'm promising, and so like, with everything, it is a big thing with where we know Elrond is going. Okay. And so just to let the people know, hey guys, this just doesn't look right. It doesn't mean it isn't, and that is the main thing. If anyone knows me, that is what I put out. Like, okay, so right now I would feel very confident about buying an NFT off your of your project. Right now I would be, but before, just what I didn't know but wasn't like open for anyone to see. It's just the view of what I see. As an investor, I'm just going to be more wary when I see just the little, maybe not red flags, I'll just call them yellow flags. Caution. Hey guys, be cautious. Like, like it's not immoral what you guys did. It just was like, hey, be cautious, like, to me. And so if anyone, like, if everyone's talking about our hair, I just see that.
You do have luxurious locks, my brother.
Thanks. You too. But, as somebody that has been in the space from day one, I seen CryptoKitties, I seen all these NFTs, I seen, look at CryptoPunks. They went for nothing. They just went to the community. Okay. So then I look at, what people are doing now. What are you doing with that, 8,800 e-gold? Like, those are questions I want to ask. And so like, that's a lot, to take from the community. And then, you can make a few websites and pay your artists and, this and live, and you got to take some bread home for yourself. But we've been talking, like a bunch of people have been just trying to get more into this, hey, in the future, this e-gold's gone now from your wallet. Can you get it back when e-gold rises again? And so is the value going to be there enough? Or is the team going to hand it off to the community and they will bring it up, or it will go down? One of the two, And so those are the questions I ask, and I ask my community to like look into. So, those are hard questions right now.
Those aren't hard
like
questions.
Bitcoin NFTs.
If you want to get into those questions, I would be happy to answer some of them. Like, I'm happy to tell you how much I was paid, how much I worked, where the money went, where the money's going. Would that be helpful to you?
Well,
and your listeners?
At least like, where's the majority, like, where is it going to fund the community for the future, and to like basically be like, this is the standard that this whole community, and then the community just rocks it, and so like, is rev points like the end game? Like, and like, where does that go? It's just, now I'm late and anyone else coming in is going to be late. So what is the benefit of like anyone like coming in now? That's another thing. So,
my friend, first of all, you are not late. The whole premise of this NFT and our broader existence in the space, like I said, the Faceless Many is the first step of Faceless Crypto's roadmap. Most NFT projects, the value proposition is that you will be able to sell an NFT for more than you paid for it. And we repeat that, and we repeat that, and we try to raise the floor price. But eventually what happens with that model is that this one biggest wave of people who has bought in for 8x the project's selling price is left holding a bag when they can't unload it. And that is just not how the financial revolution is going to happen. That's a Ponzi scheme. And so what we've tried to do, first of all, with rev points, that's not the end game. Like I said to you, we endeavor to continue to build out the educational resources on facelesscrypto.com, and in partnership with organizations like Coinbase, with organizations that are building products that will become the LinkedIn of Web3, eventually a capital fund. We'd like to have a governance token for our community. We'd like to have a public token for our community. We have a metaverse space that people can participate in that we're partnering with Spatial.io to build, that is totally free for people to access. We'll launch other artists. But to answer your question about where is the money, my friend, the biggest portion of the sale went into a treasury that is for building out that future ecosystem, with the hope that the many who've yet to come will be able to access those things largely for free, whether or not they're holders of our NFT. So immediately, 50% of every sale went to that treasury. The team and I split some of the proceeds, but to give you an idea, I took home the equivalent of about $25,000. And I had worked for this thing leading up to the mint for the better part of 4 months, more than full time. And if you do the math, you will see that I am not making a ton of money on that. The same is true for all of my co-founders. Well, some of the money obviously went to cover expenses for things like when we hired copywriters or when we hired people to audit things that we were doing. Those things cost money and are a worthy investment, I think, when you're talking about keeping people safe. And then much of that money also went to a community fund. The royalties that we've built in are split between the artist, between the team, and between the community. And that community fund right now has largely not been touched. We're being very thoughtful about how we use the money we do. A lot of the projects out there that are offering staking for NFTs for rewards, we have it on good authority that those are going to be some of the first projects that are targeted by regulators, that are going to be subpoenaed by courts. And it is absolutely a non-starter for us to do anything that would put our holders at risk of legal repercussion. And so we aren't staking the treasury right now. We aren't offering a return on investment in money or promise of future profit, because we don't want to do something that's going to jeopardize the future of our project, because we plan to be here. I mean, to build that kind of ecosystem that is the Facebook meets Coinbase of crypto, that's going to take several years. But some of the things that we're funding right now our continued development on the project in terms of additional NFTs. We plan to fund artists that we onboard into the space. We plan to fund the building out of the live classroom that we already offer through Faceless Crypto, where we do classes like how to DeFi with a live instructor, how to do your crypto taxes with a CPA who you can talk to back and forth. We are trying to incubate a group of women creators who are launching their own NFT projects. And we're looking, of course, to just expand that presence. We want to do a podcast. We want to do a YouTube channel. And while there are a lot of people who want to contribute to our holders pro bono, we don't think that's ultimately fair. We want to build out our capacity to employ people in our community. We have hired several people from the community to help build this current iteration of the project, to manage the community, but also hope to employ other people. We just had a call today about another NFT launch that we might help a worthy project do. And I hope to be able to hire 3 to 4 people from our community to manage the community, to create content on their behalf, to architect the collection structure. And the goal, of course, is that this becomes a thing that continues to grow, so that my role is less about being the boots on the ground, mopping the floor when someone needs to clean up, and is more about saying to somebody, would you like a job? And then paying them for it. So, those are some of the things that the money has gone towards. But rest assured, my friend, I am not rich because of this, and no one on my team is rich because of this. Our whole ethos is very much against the fat cats, the moguls, the people who would be the few that become rich from the many. And in terms of what the many have gotten from it, rev points and additional NFTs and education aside, the floor price of the Faceless Many NFT right now is sitting at 1.7 e-gold. And though the value of 1 e-gold is less than it was at the time of mint, as you pointed out, 1 e-gold is 1 e-gold. And in the future, as Elrond continues to deliver, we expect that to grow. So for anybody who purchased the TFM on day one in e-gold, the price of their investment has largely maintained and even grown. And this in a bear market, when I don't know if you get those updates from like the floor price watch for the Elrond projects, but everything is going down, everything's paused and staying the same. But floor price is really the smallest part of our value, because again, I'm not interested in encouraging people to think the revolution is all about flipping an NFT. There's just so much more money to be made here, and so much more wealth that has nothing to do with money.
I think I wanted to bring up something that you kind of asked earlier. Was like some of the projects that I'm in, like, and they are like Elrond Ducks, Meyer Punks, Nogons. I'm a pretty big holder of Nogons, so I have a pretty fat bag of Nogons. So I've had Josh on here too. So I've had him on my podcast, and I hope to have him again. And the thing is, I have called, I have talked to him too, and I had say I've said I've said a lot of things, but like I think that things done in the private are never like spoken of again. You know what I mean, kind of thing. So like just things that like that I've seen, that like something in private isn't really gonna like change really. You know what I mean? In what, like,
I'm not sure I do know what you mean. What are you referring to?
Well, like action or optics. Okay, so like it is when I do say something, it is a collective of people. Usually, I'm not going to say always, but it's usually a collective of people that have brought things to my attention, too, and have done their research also. And then I have to, I backtrack into it. While I've seen my own things too, I'm in a couple spats right now, and it's like, or at least one, actually just one right now. But it's like, it is the thing where optics from the outside, just somebody looking in, it can affect, a whole group of people. And if you're trying to reach a lot more people, it kind of like barricades yourself from that, and, a lot of people, see a 1 e-gold mint as something that, is kind of treacherous, especially at this point, which I don't understand why, because e-gold is, 3 times under its top price, so it people would pay for it back then, but the liquidity is running dry out of the people that are in the ecosystem, so that it is directly affecting the community. Okay. So like these were things that I did have, my cautions about, and a lot of us talked about 1 e-gold mints and how, even though they are up to, 1.7 like yours is, or, like other mints that I've seen have started way smaller, but they have gotten way bigger, than even that. So I think it's like if you do start out bigger, you might, if you push it enough and you have the right tactics, you will grow. Like that's one thing. But with where we're at right now, like my project that I want to launch, I want to start it so low that the people just choose. They could choose whatever price they want to start it at, because that's the community has to give the value to it, right? But it can't be forced. So a forced valuation is someone, in my opinion, sticking something at 1 e-gold and saying, well, that's the value. Okay, there you go. Right? Instead of starting at like 0.0 or 0.1, or 0.2 even, and then you have your drops from here to there, or like escalating your drops from like 0.2 to 0.4 to 0.6, like Elrond Ducks did, like, Meyerpunks did, it doesn't make sense because it doesn't give the value to your community right away. It doesn't. Because
why do you think, though, that the only value is provided after the sale, my friend? It sounds like you're making a lot of assumptions about the value based on just the price.
You have a whole array of people, right? So right away, your mint went down. You're like below mint price. Like every single one, all projects have lately. Okay, they start out and people are wary. But if you have an awesome project, why do you have to start at 1 e-gold? You know what I mean?
Well, my friend,
your people, I understand. What's that? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Please go ahead.
If you start, at such a high, rate, you did launch at a good time where people had liquidity. If you launched right now, I'm saying, you would have not have sold out the way you did back then. Okay, that's a fact. Okay, that's a fact because of the liquidity.
I don't think you can say that because it's speculative.
Well,
it's not good logic to say
it is, but it's the whole thing. You look at the whole market right now. Okay, it is a falling or a steady market. Okay, which shows the liquidity is dry and people are hoping. I haven't sold anything in weeks. Okay, so just me looking at a community, that starts at there's other projects that are not sold out right now. That started off at a high mint, and they probably, if they started out at a 0.7 mint, they'd be out, but you guys did your jobs and that was good. You did you brought the community together. I don't want this podcast to be a fight, but it is the fact that, it wasn't like the price was set for the community. And I'm seeing this, it was early on, where people were doing the 1 e-gold mints, and now people are thinking again about it. But I just, I want to see, I see where you have the value though. But at the same time, I do want to see, I want to see more, I do want to see, I want to see what you guys have coming, I definitely do. So, I'm a DGen. I'll end up purchasing one of your NFTs at some point, I'm sure, I'm definitely not against that, I definitely want to see the value for the community for sure. And I do.
Do you know much about what we did before we went to the sale, Derek?
What's that?
I said, do you know much about what our community and our project did before we held our sale.
I do not know of what you were speaking. No.
Oh, okay. Would it be fine if I told you? Because, you know, if somebody told me about a product that was coming out in an ecosystem where, for NFTs, most NFTs in the Elrond ecosystem were less than 1 e-gold before we launched, it would give me sticker shock too. If I saw a project that was an e-gold at mint, I would say, wow. And especially if I wasn't involved, I didn't know the people, I wasn't part of the community, and I hadn't participated or received any value from them, it would be a big ask for me to put up a whole e-gold at mint. And so I was just inferring that perhaps you weren't as familiar with some of the things we did before the mint to help people understand why we were asking that price. So would it be helpful maybe for me to tell you about some of the stuff we did before the mint so that 8,000 people paid us an e-gold for an NFT and most of them feel pretty good about it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, and that's the thing, you know, I'm not saying like right now, you know, like I see the value you guys are bringing, but like, you know, I hope that you guys keep bringing more value to your community, because the royalties, you know, there's a talk about royalties, not on your project specifically, but royalties in general, you know, and so, you know, where you know, you said you're going to keep going, and I know you said a couple of things you're going to be doing, but what is the end goal of, you know, your faceless crypto? Like what is the end goal? What are you trying, like, I know you brought up a couple things, but you know, a lot of people are trying to do the same thing. I mean, it is a lot of repetitive stuff, you know. What is different? Like I just haven't heard like much of a different, like you know, I know a DAO, a token, you know, this and that, but what's the token for? You know, what, you know, explain that a little bit about the actual value of it. So
let me back up into the token, because our end goal, as you have alluded, there are many projects in the space that are promising you the same thing. They're promising a movie or a game or a metaverse or a book. Our goal is to accomplish, through each of the things that we build, first of all, a robust community where people at all levels of experience can come to Faceless Crypto and know that they won't be sold anything, that they are welcomed, that they can access information that really highlights the bigger picture of this technology. Crypto beyond currency, because in 5 years, most crypto is going to have very little to do with currency. It'll be a very small part of it. NFTs beyond art, the ability to instantly, errorlessly authenticate any asset that an NFT is tied to, and how these technologies will be ubiquitous in more than a cell phone. You know, metaverses. We are not interested in, I don't know Josh, for example, personally. I know that Nogen aspires to build its own metaverse, not just to partner with a platform, but to do the work to build a metaverse. And that is a hundreds of millions of dollars project to do well. We're not that interested in that. We know that there are people that it's going to be unrealistic for us as people who are not developers of metaverses, of people who are not builders of games, to promise any of those things in a way that would add any real value. So what we're doing instead is we are trying to first educate people about the potential of this technology beyond those things. And then as we build that community and attract people to that community, we will tackle one by one applications of those things in partnership with other people who are the best in their class at it, to do it better than the other NFT projects that are promising it to you. Not that we're trying to compete with anybody, because we're really not. But for example, instead of trying to build a metaverse, we just found a great tool we loved, spatial.io, that was free. That is a no-code tool, so anybody can use it that's got a device and an internet connection. And we built a relationship with their community and their team. And then we built spaces in the metaverse. We have 7 worlds right now that totally for free you can access and start building in the metaverse. A lot of projects promise it for you, but we did it. And we did it in a way that would ensure that people wouldn't have to pay for it. Even people who aren't our holders will not have to pay to access our metaverse. The Nexus, our primary world, is on the front page of Spatial.io right now. You can go check it out, anyone listening. I would encourage you to. It's fantastic. And we hope to bring many people in who are interested in building in the metaverse. Artists who may want to understand how NFTs can help them will be personally onboarded by our team to the spatial tools. We will help them build spaces where they can list the items in their metaverse as NFTs, so that people who couldn't come to a gallery where they physically live can be exposed to their work and they can monetize it. People who may not be able to access real world experiences will be able to experience them through the metaverse spaces we build. So that's like a deep dive example into one application. Mm-hmm. We'll do that with a token if we choose to. We'll do that with many things if our community finds interest and value in them. But the end goal for us is a robust community with people from all over the planet, of all ages, all colors, all creeds, who are seeing a bigger picture for Web3, not just what token should I pick, not just can I sell this NFT for more than I bought it for, but how can I, a regular person, start using this technology in a way that's going to change my life? That's the big picture end goal for us. Would it be helpful for me to talk a little about like the token I envision or some of the value I think people have gotten since they bought it? I realize I just kind of went on a monologue there, and I want to, honor your interview.
I was listening for sure. No, I definitely want to hear your take on what you guys are doing, because, me trying to start out, I tried to start out kind of big too, but, I had like a set value behind mine already, like that I wanted to give, because, not everyone has the funds to get into some of the big projects. So, I get why you guys started out, a little bigger, but, I just wanted to hear it from you, not that I'm picking on like your one eagle, but like, I like to just get that out there. Like, this is something we do need to get into our head though. And I know you can agree with that, is that we do need to be careful with like, where we're putting our ego. And someone wants to know about the staking opportunity with the token, but I think that's really far out until regulation comes. That's what I think he said that earlier. But
I would say that. I'm happy to address it again, but please continue.
Yeah, and so like, having a 1 e-gold mint early, is an opportunity for projects to get that, money to build. But like, me as looking at like a project, it's like an accumulation is a better look. You know what I mean? As like, I'd rather see someone mint low and have more royalties, because of that starting point for the people to get in, So
can I just ask you a question though? If somebody has a big vision, do you not think it's irresponsible of someone to say, I'm a big believer that everybody should have access. And I do think at the time of our mint, $250, which was the price of e-gold, and it bumped up to $300 one day, and then $500 a little after. Yeah. That's a lot to ask for people. And it's not accessible to everybody. But I do think it would have been really even worse, much more irresponsible of us to say, as 10 people in a room trying to steward the future of this community, it would have been silly for us to say, we can sell this thing for 0.1 e-gold and then build a metaverse and then hire a developer. And then there's just no world where a 10-person team could, even one who didn't pay for advertising, right? Where we could say, we are going to sustain the future of this community and build you the kind of value we have promised you with $200,000. And again, the price of e-gold has gone way, way down. I thank God we had as much, e-gold in the treasury as we did, so that at a time like right now, we're not worried about how we're going to sustain the future of the community. I mean, my co-founders and I, we haven't taken additional paychecks yet. I have been paid, one time, and then again, we had a very small royalties payment. But that is not how I get my groceries, friend. And it would have been really silly of us to say that we can sustain this project for 10 years in the future, especially considering the second mint we did, the Allies collection, we sold exclusively for rev points, which essentially don't make us any money. So we're providing all this value to people and we're asking them to continue trusting us. But I mean, I don't know if you have any business experience as an entrepreneur, but it would be really silly for me if I was, say, the founder of St. Jude, to go to my donors and say, you know what, pay what you can. Whatever you pay, we'll find a way to make it work. No, he goes out there and he says, it costs $700 million a day to run this hospital. We are saving lives. We are free sourcing information to hospitals around the world. This is an urgent issue. That's why we need your money, and we need this much money. It was not just a price in a vacuum, and it was not something to make us rich. It was a figure that we calculated and we felt was responsible in order to sustain the community. And we got that it wasn't accessible for everybody. And so that's why one of the things we wanted to do was build out other things that even people who never buy our NFTs can access, that will enrich their lives. We believe everyone is the Faceless Many. But for people who wanted to own part of our story, we felt that that was a price commensurate with and exceeded by the value we endeavored to offer. And, you know, I hope we've been good stewards of that so far, and that people would tell me if we weren't. But, you know, another example I'll give you is I work with a DAO right now. It's called Valorize. It is like the WordPress of Web3. Just like browsers are like, you know, websites, the currency of Web2, tokens will be the currency of Web3. Even your florist is going to have a token 10 years from now, the way your florist has a website. But it's like 1990, where if you went to 1990 and told a florist, hey, one day you're going to have a website, they'd look at you like you were nuts. And we're at that phase right now in Web3. Most people don't understand how tokens will become ubiquitous in the future. And so Valorize, this organization, is doing no-code token solutions for DAOs that want to tokenize. It's a small audience right now, but in the future, everybody's going to have a token. And that's the kind of thing that right now you could go out and try to hire a developer. It might take you weeks. You might go through 2 or 3 candidates, and you might have to pay somebody tens of thousands of dollars to give you a token. And they're selling this for like $1,500. You can pay $1,500 and get a token designed by this team out the door. It works out of the box for you. And to be fair, I don't have $1,500 that I can just throw around. Most people don't. But even though that's a lot of money, the value they're getting for that, to have a token for $1,500 that's ready to work for you and your community, is huge. And so we realized that 1 eGold is a lot. $250 is a lot. But we hope to be like Valorize in that the product we give people, the ecosystem we invite them to, and that we invite the many who've yet to come to, the people who don't even buy our NFTs, will be worth it. And that those people who invested $250 10 years from now will look back and say, I am so glad that I got to have a part in building this thing. The way someone who donates to St. Jude can feel pride when they visit the campus of the hospital, knowing they own a part of that story.
Well, you know, I really like how you did speak on what you guys are doing. And yeah, you know, I do kind of ask the hard questions, and, you know, a lot of people might not like, you know, the way that I go about it, but, you know, it's who I am. You know, it's kind of like I'm just that stick in the mud sometimes, you know, and maybe I have to be more, you know, I don't let my guard down. I bought some stupid NFTs, you know, maybe I thought they looked cool or something. It was just like, this is a test though. And we are just all learning, you know, still. I mean, who bought ETH NFTs really, you know? So we're all here to make money. You know, and so like, even me, you know, I want to make money, obviously at some point, you know, off of what I do, but I want to give value, like, you know, doing this. And I do spend a lot of my time trying to like get these together, you know, so like, it wouldn't be bad for me to like in the future get a little bit off of, you know, something that I do, but I don't want to just take people's money like, hey, donate, you know, I want to give something, you know, and I get what you guys are doing. You guys have a lot of people to like, you know, kind of like compensate for what you're doing. And yep, you know, things visually might not always look good, and doesn't mean they aren't good. The actions behind them might be generous and big-hearted, but to some people, you know, it doesn't look like that, and it's going to be like that for everything, you know. for everything in this world, it's yin and yang. You know, it's good and bad. You know, everyone has a view of, you know, of something, whether it's good or bad. You know, it's all subjective sometimes until we understand. And I think that was just like, you know, it was, you know, wrong of me to call you out like I did and to not get you on my podcast right away. Yes. I think we all do that. And like, you know, but, you know, on the other hand, you know, I think that we should, you know, we should be able to work together if we're going to be in the same ecosystem, no matter if we really like each other or not. You know, we are all this in this for the same reason, you know, for financial freedom.
Well, I just want to stop you because and not to be defensive, and maybe I'm projecting, but I'm not really in this space to make money. My investments, if they all went to zero tomorrow, honestly, the most valuable investments I've made are in my network and in the things that I'm contributing to build that add value to other people. My goal is that 30 years from now, I can go anywhere in the world and knock on the door and say, I'm hungry. And someone will say, oh, honey, it's Evan. Welcome. Come, eat in our house, sleep in our bed, because they trusted me to help them. You know, it's not just about the money. I don't know if you know the story about Kurt Vonnegut, who he was at a party of billionaires. And when his friend said to him, look at all the things that they have, remarked, I have something they will never have. And his friend said, what? And Kurt Vonnegut said, enough. I have enough. Right. And I want to help people in this space create monetary wealth, but also to see that when we work together, when we build community, that there is enough for all of us and we can become wealthy monetarily, but also in ways that have nothing to do with money.
Mm-hmm.
And just a real quick thing too.
It's true. The community has been my biggest, you know, like the biggest like currency. I mean, you know, it is like people are like bring value, you know. What is currency? It's a value, you know, it's given a value. People are given values, you know, and so like when you look at the space, there's a lot of value, you know, coming from all sides of Elrond. So, you know, the community is the most important thing. And if we didn't have that, if everyone was against each other, then we wouldn't have anything.
Well, and let me say, I couldn't agree more. And I want to invite you, please, you know, I may have come across as defensive because I want to represent my project well, but it is my intention to be a friend to you, to be a brother to you, to be a colleague to you. And if you know, have questions that you perceive are difficult, I would much rather, I want to invite you anytime to send me a message, send our team a message. I would much rather you ask me a question you think is difficult than that you make a claim or an allegation which is untrue that reflects poorly on you and makes people maybe make a bad decision. You know, I would hate for that to happen to you because I love that you want to protect people in this space. I love that you want to add value. So I would just tell you, anytime you have a question, I don't care how difficult it is, man, you can ask me. I'm happy to answer it. Definitely. And if I don't have an answer, I'll tell you that too. I think something that people in this space should say more and don't is, I don't know the answer to that. Yeah. You know, it's my favorite thing to say because it lets people know they can trust me.
And like I tell everyone, you know, I have been wrong and I won't be right all the time. You know, it's, you know, and when I do say things, it's all just visual, you know, what I see, you know, what others bring to me too, you know, so I have been bringing it to the people, you know, and yep, I have been censored too in other ways, you know, and so, you know, sometimes what do I need to do? Maybe if I bring it to someone, I might get censored. You get what I mean? So then I can't say anything or tag anyone in it. So, you know,
but don't project that on me, my friend. That's all I'm saying.
No, not on you, but I'm just saying in general. And you guys were a brand new project too back then. So, you know, I have already been censored by several different. So like it isn't uncommon for that, you know? And so that's why sometimes I do feel like, you know, and that's just me saying what, you know, where I'm coming from. You know, and so like maybe right away, you know, like let's get together. But that didn't even happen, you know, right away after, my first post. I don't want to get into that too much. I just wanted to say that, when we are in the space, optics are everything. And until people do see what you are doing, it's always going to be just optics. So we all need to work together to communicate better, to, get in touch with each other. Yes. At the same time, we should be able to take criticism and calm our community without attacking, because, maybe some words create hurt, but there are all those deflective words too that I've always put in, okay, to make it so it's like not direct. So, like the word scam, for instance, I almost always try not to make that it's not direct, like maybe like kind of like around, like, I don't know how to explain it, but you guys are doing good stuff. So, a lot of people, there's always going to be happy. There's always going to be people that are mad, with every project at every stage, I guess. You can't make everyone happy. So like, you couldn't make me happy, just the optics that you put out right away, you know what I mean? And like, so I felt the need, but we move forward to the fact that you guys are still here. You're making your community and your roles more decentralized. People are becoming more into the community, kind of like Elrond ducks. Like it is reminding me a little bit of like that, in a way. Obviously with, the different things that I've, I just seen, we don't need to like ever go back there again. It's out of the way now. I definitely have courage for you guys now. I throw you love every now and then, I'm sure, so there's no harm, no foul, in what I feel, so.
I appreciate you for saying it. It's very gracious of you. And I am sorry that I'm a big believer in the golden rule, not as a means to persuade others, but as a means to model a better path, to treat others as you would be treated. I think that whenever you treat somebody who has wronged you in kind, that you put the ball back in their court and put that hurt back out into the world. I think the most powerful, most countercultural, regenerative thing to do is to transform the hurt you receive and to put back out graciousness, to put back out love, to put back out kindness. And I know that's something I personally aspire to do, but sometimes fail at. And I definitely think that we have an ambition for our project as one that models a better way in crypto, to model a better way in all things. I have a master's degree in communication, and I am here to tell you that I am a student. I am a learner always. It has taught me anything. It's taught me that, dude, I don't know what I don't know. Right. And, like I said, I would just hate, I want you to feel like you can talk to me and talk to us. I would hate for you to feel like because you couldn't ask a question that you weren't feeling safe. And I would hate to see somebody like you who cares about the future of this platform, of these communities. I would hate for you to lose your platform or to lose credibility or trust. I would hate to lose it myself because we were posting things that we could have verified but didn't. So my commitment to you is that that I personally, and certainly our project, will always do our very best to reach out to you in a way that invites conversation, that invites truth, and is productive, and is not reflecting poorly on us or putting more hurt into the world, that kind of thing. Right. I think that's really apt and really important. Everything that I've, if you kind of look back, everything that I've kind of tried to just do was not ever to put hurt into the world, never to hurt anybody, ever. This, I love Elrond. If you actually kind of know like me and like my background in Elrond, like we have we do have like a huge community that kind of wouldn't be here, like
and I didn't do anything, to like, even like I just talked about it, and like, I just spread the love, because that was like my main goal, in all this. And I didn't even have, well, actually back then I didn't have a goal. I was just on Twitter, just talking about stuff. And then, I started getting my Twitter structure better, and being able to advertise just like myself as like, with my tweets and different things. And then people, I guess, just noticed me a little more. And then I started gaining a little more followers. And then, people rely on what I do now. They rely on these little things that I say, because it keeps them on their toes, first off. And there hasn't been one, like one person that that I have called out that I haven't really had, like, made friends with, so like, that's another thing. Like, it's not only you, maybe I nitpick, but I feel like, we're in that early stage where, maybe that's what we need to do a little bit, as a community, is just kind of like be that cautious community, and not be that, so ruggy, and, like, we really, I think we have an open-minded community, but I think we do need a lot more education. And I think you guys will offer that to the community. I definitely do. And
we do.
And
we do right now. I would
Yeah.
really invite you to check out my personal platform on Twitter and on TikTok. It's called Conversations with Evan. And I delight in doing as much as I can all the time to bring information to people that is not selling them anything, that is shepherding them into a deeper understanding of Web3. And I think my colleagues do also. And some of the conversations our community members have in our Discord, around our Twitter, and on their own platforms are just, I learn new things every day by spending time with those people that I trust, that are my friends. So check those things out, man, if you're not already, because they're fantastic. And you don't even have to buy an NFT to do that. I'm not interested in selling you an NFT, but I would love to have your perspective on what we're doing. And also, we didn't get to talk about this yet, but if you have time, I would really love to know more about what your plans are, what your hopes are, what you're working on, and maybe how I or our community can support you in that.
Well, I'm just here, I'm here for the people, for anyone, that's, my messages are always open. I never really had an agenda. I was just really just here. And so like, what I'm doing kind of just transformed into seeing, like, I don't really want, like, I don't know, I don't say this enough, but I don't really like doing podcasts, but I feel the drive and the need to do it. Like, I don't like putting myself out there. I hate it. But, and if anyone knows, even just growing up, I was always just the happiest kid. I didn't want to go against anything, but then, I got to the point in my life where it's like, hey, we do need to always ask questions. Always. And maybe, say what we feel like we need to say. And maybe, that hasn't made the best decisions for like social media and stuff like that. But like, I did want to just educate, the people, even though like I was called to be in the ministry kind of when I was a kid. I kind of wanted to be like I was Catholic growing up. I kind of wanted to do something like that, be a priest, but it wasn't like exactly what I wanted to do. So then I just like took a step back, went through my life, and now I'm like, I kind of just got into preaching still, like, kind of like talking. And I have like 30 episodes. I think you're like my 30th episode right now. So like on Spotify and on YouTube, they're not all, so they're kind of spread out a bit, but I have my own project, Degen Souls, it was kind of just a joke that came. We have Lunicorns in the ecosystem, and they took interest in my art. So then I kind of wanted to just like keep going with it, because that drive of, people liking your art, and and I feel like it would be harder for me to be on a team, to push art that's not mine. And that's the thing. It's like, it's hard for me to like, look at it that way. And I'm a loner though. Like I just am, so I will have to have a team, but I don't know a lot about, running a team, management. I've had a lot of jobs that, wasn't kind of my thing, was management and stuff like that. I was in the military. I was kind of just like, oh, do this. But now I just want to do my own thing. And, it's kind of hard when you don't have the background. It is. But at the same time, I just wanted to build so slow that, it kind of just got out there and was just a thing. It wasn't like, oh, like this is just like, I don't know how to explain it. I just wanted to create something that people can identify with, I guess, actually identify with, people, not cutting the corners with like, I'm not saying anything against any other projects, but it's hard to identify with the whole world, like with an NFT, because color, race is such a big thing these days, and like being diversified in your in your NFTs, and like it doesn't fit everybody, and then they look at it, it's like, how does this fit into my life? How do I look at this and be like, well, now I can identify with this, and I could use this in a game piece. And I didn't want to do 3D, and I'm an artist of just like 7 months. So anything that you see that I do is really just the beginning of what I've just started. And so, I didn't know, and I wasn't, and anyone that's looked at my NFTs may think I've been greedy too, but all of my NFTs are very limited until I put a collection out, and anything that I've ever gotten has gone, like a lot of it's gone back to the community and right back into this podcast. So it's like everything isn't in my pocket, and I love that though. It's a good feeling because I know that people can't just be like, scammer. And I'm like, no, I could show you. I drive a normal car. I don't have a big project out there, but people have paid some good money for my NFTs. But I put a lot of time into them, like, and a lot of thought has gone into them too. And it does take a lot of time for me to have that like vision or thought that's like, all right, yeah, let's create that. So
Yeah.
I think that's.
I mean, I can't imagine. I look at Carlos, our artist, our first artist. He's been doing his art for decades, and he just the complexity of it, the nuance of it. As somebody who's learning the craft right now, I'm sure you appreciate it on an even deeper level. Sometimes though, this dude, he'll be like, we'll talk to him about an artistic concept, and he'll be like, okay, and then 15 minutes later, he'll pop us this incredibly fleshed out asset, this image that is like just from his mind that he just kind of whipped up. It's just amazing to see how over time you can really develop that. It's like a muscle you can train. So it's always exciting to talk to people who are working on new endeavors like that.
Yeah. And so like if you do look at any of my stuff, they've come out exactly as I pictured them in my head. Like to like the little bits of it. So, it makes me kind of like a little like, because right now as a person, I am going through a lot of stuff myself. So through my art, I've been able to just like put what I'm going through into my art, which has been like, I think, people do like it, all like almost all mine are sold out, which is crazy,
Can I ask you, can you tell me more about your collection? Like, so obviously it's giving you the ability to learn a new skill. It's giving you a therapeutic outlet. It's giving people a piece of art. But how many pieces are in the collection? Is there a different kind of utility to it? What are some of your thoughts, or where it's at, or where it's going?
When I just started buying NFTs, I knew that I wanted to give a lot of them away. So I took and I said, well, when Natural Degens bought my first two pieces, I said, okay, I'm going to take this seriously. I'm going to use my NFTs to back the value of these for the first 15 holders. So I just, and I didn't even I didn't tell anyone until the 13th one was sold out of the first 15. So the 13th one sold, and then it was 11th. It's 11th or 13th one. So a majority of them was sold before I even released the value behind it.
And you said it was your collection. What do you mean by that? Like you gave people pieces of the NFT collection that you had?
I have my own collection of NFTs that I bought from the start. And so I just told, there's different tiers of the prices people paid, and the NFTs, I might have, and I've reimbursed too. I might do a reimbursal because they did pay a lot, and if I want to lower the price, I'll just do a reimburse. And I just want to make it so fair, because the top tier is no-gon. So if you do have a top tier one, which was a lot of money actually, but it isn't generative. So, I felt like this is a game that if you want to get in it, and you're doing non-generative stuff, because I do want to do a generative collection, but if you're doing non-generative stuff and it takes you 6 to 8 hours, it took me about 6 to 8 hours to complete each one, or 4 to 8 hours actually, sorry. So, when it takes someone so much time to do it, it's and then you want to put it right back into your projects, and then you want to you already have the value to back it up so people know. I mean, they didn't know to begin with, which was the greatest feeling when people were just buying my art. I just post it and they'd be gone within the next day, 2 to 3 e-gold sometimes, and I was just like, wow. And I want to give my generative collection for 0.009, the first 1,500 to 2,000 of my NFTs are just going to go for nothing, because I want the community to get in, and then I want them to value it themselves, and I want them to just because I don't want to I don't have anything really to give them from that. I just want them to value it, from their own perspective of it, So if I'm doing a generative, me as a smaller creator, with maybe I do want to make partnerships with different things, and I'm partnered with Elrond Energy right now, and they've created a vending machine and different things, and it's cool, how people are creating around you, and then you're part of different communities already, and I barely launched, So I don't have a lot of followers, and I don't really that doesn't bother me very much. But
well, sure. Can I ask you? So just to clarify, you said so you're giving away. You've got this collection. You're selling them for 2 to 3 e-gold each, and they, depending on how rare they are.
Well, actually, let me backtrack. It's
sorry.
0.4 for the lowest tier, 1 and then 3. So it's kind of big and spread out, but the more you pay, the first one's a no-gon. So, I mean, the floor is 4 e-gold, for the no-gon. So, you'll get the value for the no-gon. And I feel
plus a 1-for-1 art
not financial advice, but, I feel like we're getting down to the floor, the bottom of where, no-gons and ducks and all, mire punks, we're getting down to the bottom price to what people are going to be paying for them. And hopefully I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we go into a depression where people keep selling lower,
Sure.
and that could, and I want to let people know that nothing is financial advice, but at the end of the day, we can only make the best decisions. And maybe buying my collection might not be a good decision, but, I will really focus on the partnerships, and I do have a few in mind that, might be kind of funny to get involved in. And I think that, the pathway there is already set. if I want it. I have a lot of people I talk to every day, so the door's open for anyone. But the real utility, I think, is gaming. So that's what I want to strive to kind of do.
Gaming, like how?
Like just like being character, just making the character. Like I don't know if you've seen what I've created, but
no, sure. I was going to ask you, do you have a link for your collection? I would love to see a link and explore some of what you've done.
Let me I think I can post in the comments here.
Oh, I'm not joining on YouTube. I'm just on StreamYard. Do you maybe have a
you can see the comments though on StreamYard.
I can. Is it in the chat feature?
Yeah,
I need a millennial.
Yeah, it's in the chat on the right.
Oh, look at all these people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people listening. So there was like 12 or 13. So
that is so nice. My friend Michael's here. John Rocker, Crypto Gypsy. Look at this. This is great.
Yeah,
Rise up, everybody.
Johnny Rocker is one of my homies. So I know he's a big deal in your on your team. And
he's a big deal. Period.
And you know what? I love Johnny. He's been around for so long. In MySpace, in where I'm at on Twitter. So. I see your people, Evan. So, he definitely appreciates what I do too. And I definitely see where everyone comes from with it, with their opinions, with how everything went. And, definitely good community you have behind you. I definitely will say that for sure.
So did you put the link in the chat? I don't see it yet.
Yep, I am working on that right now. So,
and then I would be interested to know what you're doing to build relationships with your collectors, to build that kind of community for yourself through your NFTs. Obviously you've got this podcast, you're active on Twitter, but I have really found, like I said, beyond the value of my investments, the projects I have built and the relationships with people I have built, the whole success of the future of the Faceless Many is about our reputation, is about the relationships people build in our community. And I think, followers are not as great as engagement, which is not as great as a reputation that is valuable.
Right.
So
and see, and that's the thing. I see NFTs, as two, there's two different NFTs. There's vanity NFTs and there's utility NFTs. I do consider yours as a utility NFT. With mine, I do want to leave it more as like a community pushed, project, if that's what they choose. I'm not going to go on TikTok and be like, yo, hey guys, buy my NFT, or like, I'm not saying that's what you guys did, but that's kind of like, that's not me. So like when it all comes down to it, like I want to have a vanity NFT that, if I'm not a traditional worker, in any sense. I do, I figure out how to make my money other ways. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. Like, I do want to start a community. I do want to have something for them, like a gaming mechanism in them. So like a character, it's not just a head. If you are looking at them, it's not just a head. It's going to be, it's going to be add-ons to where, you could program them into the website and it brings up a whole body, and then you have your different ways they move. And I want to do that kind of thing for my community, but I want to start out small. And I just, a little head, that, maybe some animation added on with an SFT. I want to work with maybe you or whoever that can actually make something like that happen. But, I just want to have like something people can actually identify with. I think that is something we are missing in the space and, on Elrond. And so when people can just look and create something, actually, I think that would be beautiful. So I think more vanity, more of like the community, like, like I said, starting out so small that to where I'm not taking a majority off the bat, and I can just give it the community and still maybe take my 10% royalties, even though I'll probably do lower than that, or whatever the case may be. But I do want it to be, for the community and them base it off what they want. So like, I don't want to push it at all. If people like it, they like it. If it's a bust, then the people that got in, get their kind of like the main people already got their value. It's out. But, I will just tell them, like, this is not something that we could have some sort of like earning off of it. But like, is that what it's always about? No, it's not. But the money is not there to have that right away. So I don't want to offer that right away. I'd rather make partnerships and then like bring it into something else. And then maybe it will have that value where people are like, I want that, and grab it. And maybe that will happen. But that's where I think NFTs from like creators like me, it's like a maybe. It's always because we're low. I don't want to take the money and be like, oh, well, now we expect. Well, that's not the way I wanted it to go. And that's not the way I want it to go for just like a small creator like me. You guys had already, different visions. And I really love that, how like you already had things set up. And I guess that was something I missed, that you already had like a education set up,
Well, and the other thing is we talked about it very differently. For us, it was always about providing value to people. And it started with the artist. If all people got from us was a JPEG, they got one from an Academy Award winning, Emmy Award winning master of his craft, right? So like, I see a lot of people who are newer artists, for example, or maybe newer to a digital space that are struggling to sell, and they're asking a lot of money. But then I look at someone like Shloms or Pack, who is an accomplished artist and designer, or traditional people entering the Web3 space who are accomplished photographers, accomplished painters, etc. It makes sense for someone like them to sell a one-of-one masterpiece oil painting with an NFT for $5,000. If I started drawing tomorrow and tried to even charge, 0.1 e-gold for my stuff, people would be like, you're not a fine artist, Evan. I'm not going to buy that unless I gave them some other kind of utility. And for us too, the other part of it was we saw beyond the art. For us, the art, even though it's awesome, is the smallest part. And the real value of NFTs we saw was not just, we saw a lot of people who were coming in and saying, hey, community, we'll do whatever you want. We'll make it a movie, or we'll make it a comic book or whatever. And for us, it was more important to build a great container that had a story, but a story that other people would be inspired to add to, and that we could model ways that if you're a storyteller, here's how you can add to it. If you're a developer, here's how you can add to it. If you've got a brewery and want to release a limited edition of beers with your TFM, go right ahead. So that people could start to see, again, in like 5 or 10 years, what are people going to do with NFTs? We wanted to give people an avenue for what that would look like. So it's like a very different value proposition. And I would say to you, I think even if your goal was just to make money to support yourself, or just to practice your art, or just to build community, I think all those things are valid utilities. My experience is just that the most important thing is to market it appropriately. If I try to market my NFT as an NFT that's going to make you $500 more than you paid for it, I've shot myself in the foot. That's not what our NFT is designed to do. And similarly, there are some people who sell an NFT that they promise lots of utility for, and then they do a rug pull. And honestly, I would be fine supporting an NFT for a creator who said, I'm doing this NFT project so that I never have to work again and can spend the rest of my life creating art. I would be like, hey man, good on you. Thanks for being honest with me. Would like to see more people do it. Here's 10 e-gold. I mean, not that much, but
and that's the thing. I mean, what artists, and that's the thing. I'm like a kind of a newfound artist to myself, and like how I like project myself. So in a way, I do value it a lot, and people, when I do show it, people have honestly valued what I put out. And it's just like, it feels good. It does feel really like super good to have that. And so, it does have that drive factor to want more for you and the community that you are providing for. But, everyone's trying to, do the LockMax thing, and like, I know that if I do it the way I want to do it, and I don't get any other artists involved, and I do it all myself, I'm not going to take any money, like, from the first beginnings, of the first drops and that kind of thing. I just want it. I want something that's not like any other thing on the market, I want to have something that is just a little bit different, and how it's just portrayed as like it's there if you want it. It's not like, this is going to make you money. Yeah, that is one of the big things. And if I do end up making, a small like income off of it, a lot of it's just going to go right back into my podcast to make it better and bigger. And like I haven't said this a lot, but like another thing I do want to do is start an actual show on this podcast with my NFTs. So like, an actual like animated show. I think that hasn't really been done yet. I know I just like leaked that, so people can probably just be like, oh, I'm going to do that, but I feel like, you're asking me the tough questions, and I do need to find a partner that has some better qualifications if I want to do what I want to do. And I think that with Elrond NFTs, they are perfect to make a show. Definitely. Like, and I wouldn't mind giving one of your NFTs an actual mouth to make it a face.
Yeah, that's something we're trying to do. I can't say too much about it, but we anticipate that there will be opportunities for people to use their Faceless Many NFTs in many ways in the metaverse. I have seen recently a game that I would love to partner with, who I know listens to your show, is the Mario Kart game that they're trying to develop, which is like Mario Kart, but make it Elrond. How cool would it be to have a Faceless Many character that you could race in Mario Kart? And he, a piece of our lore is we have this occasion, the Rivening, where the earth is divided by the Faceless Many. I think it would be so cool to have a racetrack where you drive through a split globe, or you throw an earth behind you with the racer next to you
over
and cracks and unleashes the Rivening. Right. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, and
awesome to see the DJ souls in that game.
Yeah, and I did have that thought. Another one that I really want to be a part of is Caritha. I think that my NFTs can make good bartenders, or good people in there for the background, like the people that run the the taverns and the blacksmiths and stuff like that. Or maybe like just have that option there, and I think that the 2D world is where I want to go. And I don't think I want to go into the 3D world, because I think it will take a lot more time to develop. And I think maybe, it will just be, that's instant gratification and the value right there for the people that are using it, So to be able to live off that small little royalties, and then, give back to the community too. I feel like as a smaller creator, that's like something, especially me by myself, I deserve that, because, you guys are like a team of 10. You guys have to have those different things, to feed your people, because, you guys are putting a lot of effort into it, and you're creating your own ecosystem. Well, I'm just kind of joining an ecosystem, and my art, I don't know if it's the best. It's up to what people see, and who knows, it might not ever get used, but I could go for it, or I could sit on my ass, So I'd rather go for something, even though it's going to be slow. I have not even gotten everything for the generative collection. It's I still need to learn so much more. It's a lot of learning before you can even do something like that.
Is there a question you're wrestling with right now, or is there a resource you're looking for? Maybe it's something I can help you with, and I'd be happy to do it.
Well, I'm trying to take what I've used already and bring it into a different platform to clean it up a little bit better, and get it more worthy for generative. because I mean, I do love it the way it is. It's very cartoony. I'm a big fan.
Why do you want to do generative art? Is it just because you'll be able to scale to a higher quantity more easily?
Well, and yeah, that, and because, I do believe people like them, already, they have kind of been a hit. And so I just felt the need to want to do more, and,
Sure.
just for the fun. And so, like, just me putting them out for like little nothing, it's not a loss to anyone, really. It's like, like, hey, if you wanted to just support me to buy it, that's cool. But if you really like it, then you'll buy it, and then.
Can I give you a piece of feedback as you design that collection and work towards it?
Yeah.
Something that I see a lot of people do with generative collections, especially, is they create a large collection before they've built a large audience. And they forget that NFTs are just like any product. I mean, it doesn't necessarily cost you anything when you're using a generator to make 1,000 of them versus 10,000. But as you said, optics are everything. If you have a community of, let's say, 1,000 people, and you create a Discord and you try to sell them 10,000 profile pictures, I think it's a lot more likely that the optics will be that the sale is not a success. I would encourage you to build a community first, which you're already doing, and then identify who those people are and let that inform quantity and price. If you have 1,000 people that you know are going to want your NFT, then mint 100 of them. Because what that will do is it ensures that you sell out. It ensures that you have a product that's in demand. It will help you to meet whatever the price you determine you need to meet is. And the other thing it does is it also creates this anticipation for what you do next. Then if you sell out that collection of 100 and there are 900 people who want to buy one, or those 100 people want to buy one again, you have a lot more room to come back to the market in a second phase, in a third phase, or perhaps sell a one of one. You could make more money. You could take more time to focus on something with more utility than if you had a collection of 10,000 and you only sold 100 of them and people said, oh, this project's a failure. Not that a sellout or not a sellout doesn't make success or failure.
And right now we're seeing
as a person who's just one creator, it can be really tough to keep a community safe. A Discord community or a Twitter community. If you're just one person and you have a generative collection of 5,000 and you build an audience of 30,000 people that want them, or you get bots coming to a website, there's just so much more risk there that it's hard even for a team like ours to handle. And I would hate for someone like you or for
I was
people in your
seeing some of your
community
tweets
to
too,
experience pain because of that.
Yeah, I've seen some of your tweets too. It's hard, there's things that happen that are unexpected, and I definitely have the right people around me to give me some of that advice, I think, too. I've surrounded myself by the people that, if I was to get into that conversation, they would definitely give me that good advice, too. And, I did want to do a higher collection with a deflationary, and like the way I would sell them, and have that treasury maybe of, what I sold, and say, hey, I can give you back what you've minted it for. If you're really unhappy, I can just do that, and have that and then burn it, and then have that, like, it's gone. You'll never get it again. No one will ever get it again. And so I think that was a big thing that I'm considering right now, is having that deflationary, and, doing maybe a higher amount, but doing the drops, and seeing where they go, and then, figuring out what I want to do from there, if I'm going to cut it totally off, burn all the rest, or what I'm going to do. I feel like, that is something all projects should be looking at. I know, like, there's a bunch of projects right now that I don't think are failures that are still minting, High Street Wolves, for instance. Love their project. I absolutely love their project, but they aren't sold out. It's, at this time, we don't have the demand. It's very prevalent in what we see. But, at the same time, we are about to hit, I think, a big boom at some point when people start seeing the utility come through for some of the projects that are out there. So,
Derek, I want to be mindful of the time. I only have a couple
Yeah,
more minutes.
yeah,
I need to get off
yeah.
and go to
We've
a
been on
coaching.
kind of way longer than.
But it's okay, man. I love that we did.
Yeah.
I love getting into this kind of stuff. I love talking about it, man. You know. Is
Yeah,
there
we've had
anything else that
listeners
you
the
wanted
whole
to ask
time,
me
so.
or that I can share that would be helpful for your listeners or for you before we go?
I think we've really covered a lot today, and I think we've been it's been very good to get everything out in the open, and to show everyone that we can work together and we don't need to hate all the time. I always, if I throw a little poke out there and then I get a response where I'm wrong, or, even that the optics weren't as I seen it, I always, say that I've been wrong. And people see that too, that, I'm humble, but at the same time, I'm, urgent in the time that I, in anything that's like, it's usually timely, or, in just something that I see, so I think the people are starting to see that, optics are a big thing, and you guys are showing now, with the optics that you guys mean business. So.
Well, I just appreciate you for holding space for the conversation, for welcoming me to your platform. And I want you to know you're welcome on my platform anytime. If there's anything I can do for you, man, send me a message. I'm happy to do it. And I'm excited to watch where DGen Souls goes. It's awesome to see people.
I didn't want to make this about my project at all, but, I appreciate you asking me about what I'm doing. I do like talking about what I do, because I'm definitely proud of what I do. And I'm glad to see that you're proud of what you're doing and your team is proud of what they're doing. And the people, as I see, people are proud of what they hold. So, yeah, that's
Thank you,
that's,
brother. I so appreciate it. I gotta jump out of this chat, but I'll catch up with you on
definitely.
Twitter. Yeah, and
Yeah,
maybe we can do a round 2 sometime.
Yeah, round 2. We'll set it up.
Awesome. Have a great night, Derek. I'll talk to you soon.
Great day. And thanks, everybody. And thank you for tuning into this episode of GM NFT Podcast. And have a great day.